All right, we've got our book app. We've got our likes button, adding likes, but it's not really storing them and it's not connected to the actual book. So we actually have another column in the database where we have likes. So we've got our book recommendation database, and the Secret History has 3 likes, and Little Brother has 0 likes, and The Hidden Life of Trees has 2 likes. So let's make sure when we read from the database, we're actually grabbing those likes. So let's go here and we'll say likes equals records index 0 dot likes. And then we can also set text of our likes label to the number of likes. So that should show the likes when we hit display, and then of course when we hit scroll, we got to do the same thing. So we want to say likes equals records. Now we're reading from the records array, I dot likes, and then we want to set text of our likes label, and we want to set that to likes. All right, so this should display our likes. So we run, we display, and the Secret History has 3 likes. Little Brother has 3 likes. Oops, we can't figure out what I is. Perhaps you meant the string I. So on here on the scroll, what line is that? It's saying line 65, so we go down to line 65 on the scroll. So index. So we're using, for our scroller, we're using index. So I put I, but it should be index. All right, reset it, run it. Display, 3 likes for Secret History, 0 likes for Little Brother. Can we like it? It lets us like it. It lets us add a couple likes. 2 likes for Hidden Life of Trees, goes up to 3. Now we go home and we display again, and we have 3 likes for the Secret History, and we're back to 0 likes for Little Brother. So it's displaying them correctly, and it's allowing us to like them, but it's not saving the likes. So one more step is we want to update the database when somebody actually clicks the like button. We should have... We actually need to get one more variable. So when you update the database here, I'll just do that first. So when we go to the likes, so on event of the likes, when you click the likes button, it should not only set the text, but it should update the database. So let's make a little room, go to our toolbox, data tab, and we're going to update records. So let's drop in update records and take a look at that. So we want to update. We know the table name is book recommendation. Book recommendations. Did I spell that correctly? So book 1C 2M's singular, book recommendation. And then the ID. So this is what we don't have. We don't have the ID, but notice that all of these records in the data table, and this is something AppLab is adding automatically, it's giving it an ID number. So that ID number is unique. So if you have that ID number, you know you're dealing with that specific record. So let's create a variable. You've got var ID. I don't know if you're using that, but it's not called in your program. So let's use it. All right, you've already created it. So var ID, let's just supply ID here. And then we will have to, this gets a little tricky actually. So when we read the records, we're going to set the likes, but let's also set the ID. ID equals records 0 dot ID. Bam. And then when we scroll, right scroll arrow, let's also get the ID. So let's say ID equals records array index dot ID. Okay. So now we should be able to update that book recommendation. So we give it the ID, and the problem is we have to tell it every single value. So it's going to have to be name. Let's look at the table. It's going to have book name, genre, description, image URL, author, and likes. So we're going to have to fill out all of this. So it's book name, and we're going to have to put something in there. And so we don't have it, right? So when we read the records, we don't have book names. So when we update the likes, it does not, inside this on event, it has no idea what the book name is. Oh, but it's records array index dot book name, right? And then what else? So we got book name, genre, description, image URL. So it's going to be all the same thing. So we can do genre. You know what we can actually do, which is the slickest thing? Let's try it. Instead of putting all the stuff in this object here, I think we can just say we can say records array and then index, which is just the whole object. So that, I think, will do it. We have to do one thing left. We have to say records array index dot likes equals likes. So when we increase the likes, we set the text of the likes, and we store it. We increase it on the records array index dot likes, and then we store it in the database. I think it works. Let's try it. Reset, run, display. We've got 3. Little brother, let's like him. Let's go to Hidden Life of Trees. Let's not do anything to that. Let's go home. Let's come back to the display and the moment of truth. Little brother, it saved our like. So yes. Beautiful. Okay, so just to be clear, what we did there is we updated the record, and normally we have brackets and we have to pass in the column name and the value. But instead of doing that, we just passed in the entire object. So our records array has an object for the book records, and we just passed in the whole object. So we didn't have to spell it out. We're just saying pass in that whole records array, whatever index we're on, whether it's 0, 1, 2, or 3, update it in the database. And let's just look at the data table just to be sure. Secret history, little brother now has 1 like. Yeah, very nice. Okay, so we're in the on event. We hit the on event. It increases the likes. It sets the likes label. It increases the likes in the records array in that global variable that we're storing that keeps all of the book records. And then it takes that updated object in the records array and it updates the database table with the full object with all the information about the particular book for the index we're on. There you go. There's a complete like system. Definitely complicated. You have crossed over from coding into computer science if you're working on this, but would be really sweet. Good luck.